I love my life, and I just had to share some things, even though so I don't know like when I'm going to have time to make a video today, and I've been missing days, and my idea was to do it every day to kind of give you, whoever was interested, a look into my life behind the scenes. But it seems like the only time that I am not busy and that I could talk is when I'm driving, which is why I actually do a lot of telephone work in the car, but that's not good for video. So I have this idea to just chat while I'm on my way to my morning meeting. I wanted to talk a little bit about some things that I experienced this morning, and kind of do a little compare and contrast about, even from Friday night to Sunday morning, over 48 hours, all the different things I experience in my life and what makes it so full and delicious. This morning I woke up, and last night was date night with my husband, so we were in bed together and he was sleeping, and it was one of those really nice quiet times. My daughter was spending the night over at relatives, and memories came back from a previous lover, and I was able to feel the sensation of yearning and notice that that's what it was. This particular lover was one of those that would always, like when they woke up or when I woke up, he would just come to me and snuggle into my body, and it was very loving and sensual, and I was just remembering that, like my body was remembering that. And it's interesting because I want to have story around it, and story about, not being able to have that because he's gone, or story that, I won't have that again from anyone else. But those are just stories, and the stories are what make me sad or upset. The actual memory of the sensation and the feeling of the yearning is actually extremely pleasurable. Like, they actually turn me on and make me happy. So even though now, because I'm talking about it and sharing my stories, I'm a little bit tearful, this morning when I was laying there, I was actually in a really happy place. And then I got up and I went out on the couch, and my husband made coffee, and then he sat next to me while I was looking at my phone on Facebook, and it's so funny because he sleeps in the nude and I don't. And even our girl that we date, she was over the other day, and she's like, you would expect it to be the opposite, that Nikki would be sleeping nude and Drew would be sleeping with clothes on, but no, he's the nudist in the house. So he came and sat down next to me on the couch and started making his moves. And it's always interesting with my husband because his arousal for me and desire for me, it's not like a flame, like a candle flame or a fire flame. It's like a deep red hot coal that's so deep that sometimes not anymore, but in the past, like I wasn't even sensitive to it. Like I couldn't even tell when he was trying to come on to me. I couldn't even tell when he was feeling desire for me, because it was such a subtle feeling, a subtle communication. And I think I'm a lot more sensitive now, and I also think that he has gotten a lot better at expressing it. And so I put my phone down and was playing with him and got myself worked up by giving him some oral sex and asking him to do certain things, like pulling on my nipple and playing with me, and then we got to the bedroom and just had really fantastic lovemaking, and just it felt so satisfying and good to be doing that with my husband, with my partner of 11 years. In January will be our 11-year anniversary, so we've been together 11 and a half years. And there's nothing like that, of being intimate with someone that you're so familiar with. And when that was complete, just, like showering off and planning the day, and now I'm on my way to my meeting, and seeing, the daughter has a birthday party to go to, and I'm going to be going to yoga and Om Circle and out to dinner with a friend from the coaching program. So, that was my morning today. And that's just like, probably fairly normal, average, married lady, day. And then, compare that to Friday night and Saturday. Like, Friday, for one thing, on Friday and Saturday, I was so busy. I had appointments, elbows to assholes. Like, seriously, it was so busy. And I had a cancellation on Saturday, and I was actually relieved because then I didn't have to rush from one thing to another. And Friday night, that's a night that I like to go to a bunch of meetings. So I'm in a 12-step program, and I get a lot out of going to meetings and fellowship. And ideally, I don't know, I feel like I would like to date someone that I could go to meetings with. I feel like that would be awesome. And I also know that that's a sharp edge to walk. It could be a dangerous edge to walk. So it could be hard. But I like to go to meetings. And so anyways, I went to an art thing with some friends, which was really exciting. And I got to that. And before that, so Friday afternoon, I had an Om training. And then I had an exploratory session. And then I went and met with friends at the art gallery. And then I went to the AA meeting. Oh, I broke my anonymity. I went to the 12-step meeting. And then I went out to dinner with people because I wanted fellowship and I didn't want to go home. Drew was out on his date night, and Maya was spending the night over at a friend's house. And, I've been really irritated with meeting people on Tinder and OkCupid because it seems like almost everyone that I hit it off with is a pot smoker. It's like, man, that was my favorite thing, 20 years ago, and I'm not going to spend time with people who do that, especially if I know up front. And so I was in the position to take some people out to dinner because we wanted to go to Buca di Beppo, but no one had money. Well, not no one. Some of the girls didn't have money for that. So I was like, if that's the only thing stopping you, I'll treat. And, part of me was feeling so grateful that I had the money to do it. And the truth is, I got sober before I could work. So people bought me dinner countless times. And I really don't have a problem buying people dinner when I, in between meetings or after meetings, if I have the money. It's really not an issue. But part of me was wondering, it's like, wow, am I actually paying for them to hang out with me like I am paying for their friendship right now. I don't know. That I need to do some inventory. That's one of the balls that has gotten dropped these last couple days with being so busy, is writing my fear inventory every day. I haven't been doing it, so I think that will come out the next time I write. But yeah, I went out to dinner. There was like 15 of us. It was really fun. And then I got to give a gal a ride home, and she lives in a co-ed house. And just, I'm like one big walking hormone. I am back to being like a 17-year-old boy, and oh my gosh, nothing is more interesting than a teenage boy. And so there you go. There was a 19-year-old boy there, but he did not even look at me. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to be the creepy old woman and pursue him. No, thank you. That's okay. So I went home, and I realized, like, I don't fall asleep as well when my husband's not there. I just tend to go on Facebook and look at my phone and play around online until I'm really can't keep my eyes open, and then I go to sleep. So that was my Friday night, and that's like more the life of a single person, and it's just like such a complete difference from Friday night to Sunday morning. And it's okay. I actually like experiencing that full range of emotions and sensations and experiences. And I am always working to just expand my capacity to feel it and to hold it and not put judgment on it. Like, that's the one thing that's totally different. Like, in the past, I would have been sad about my situation that I was in on Friday night. I would have been bitchy and complaining and upset, and I wasn't. I was just like, hey, this is what it is. I'm going to make the most of it and not judge it, not criticize it, not put myself down. And that was really good, So that was a lot of what was going on. I didn't even talk about anything that happened on Saturday, which is like a whole nother game of, going to yoga, being overtired, not being able to relax into it and be present. So I actually left the class early, and that's the first time I've left a yoga class early. But I was so paranoid about getting to my first appointment on time that I couldn't relax. I couldn't let go. And so now I know, like, don't plan on going to the first class of the day on Saturday morning if I'm going to be going out Friday night. So that's a good learning. And also, don't schedule something closer than 2 hours in after yoga, because it's just, I don't move that fast. So I went, I had the appointment. It was really interesting because this friend I had been with in January, we had played, and he had, in 2 hours, he climaxed and ejaculated full on 4 times. He's one of my kinky Canadian friends. Oh my gosh. And it was so different because this time he'd been out until 4 a.m. at a party, and then he came over to see me at 10 a.m. And it was like really challenging. Even though he got a good erection going, it was like to the point where he was frustrated. So, but it was still fun. It was still good. And I'm really good about being in the moment. Like, I don't have this huge goal of how many times is he going to come or anything like that. But that was hard for him because obviously he had a goal of how many times he wanted to come or what kind of an experience he wanted to have. So then my other friend came over for OMS. And, one thing that's really interesting, a lot of guys who are in the OM community are people who have not had a lot of sex. And so this particular person, like, had sex as a teenager. Now he's not almost, middle age, in his 30s. And he's just like starting over on his sex life, and it's really hot because I love being with people who are new and fresh, and I love teaching things. And so we actually had a make out and had sex for the first time. It was really hot, and really, really hot. So then I got to go to the Cosmopolitan and teach a couple how to ohm, and that was really fantastic. They were a Midwest couple, and they needed it, and I taught them how to ohm and how to do a fear inventory, and that was really powerful. From there, I went to a speaker meeting that was like really hard to stay awake in. And then I went home and had dinner, and we watched a movie on DVD. So that's been my weekend. I'm grateful I got to share that with you, and now I'm going into my meeting. Have a fantastic day.